Hey everybody, Douglas Scott McCarron. It's a few days after the USA bombed Iran, or Iran, depending on how you like to call it. And our President Trump has said there's a ceasefire, but there doesn't appear to be because Iran and Israel are shooting at each other still. But it's just interesting for me watching it. Trump thanked God and that he loved God and thanked God for protecting our troops. And this just kind of reminded me of back when I studied religion in college. That, you read about these hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of empires where people are sure that their gods are protecting them and they're on your side and their God is failing them. I'm sure, Mr. Trump was thinking that God was giving him a great victory. Netanyahu is praying to his God, who not sure to be the same manifestation, because Trump is sort of Christian, but for my religion classes, I don't recognize the denomination, but he seems to believe in it. And then, was it Khamenei, the leader of Iran? I'm sure he thinks God's on his side. Or if you're an atheist, the truth is on your side. Or there's always this internal assumption that God is a reflection of your desires. And learning to step outside of your world is the only way to see from what I can tell reading and my personal experience, to actually bump into the eternal one that's here for all of us. But, I don't know if you ever read the Bible. And not only that, but Kings and Chronicles is just, here's this country you never heard of with this leader you never heard of saying God is on their side and God vanquished these people. And then the next group of people and their God is on their side and the person thinks they're the messenger of God. And it just keeps rolling along and thousands of people are getting slaughtered for this idea of God. I've read similar things in Chinese. People don't necessarily use the word God. There's this common, I'm the one who knows what's going on, and somehow I'm projecting my will and desire out there, and the great cosmos is giving it to me, and thank you. And yet they always seem to be in opposition to each other. And after you get to have this great victory, then you die. And what good did it do you? Outside of you got to sit around and make believe you were the messenger of God. You watch sports. Somebody scores a point. What's a point? Outside of it's a feeling that you're victorious and somehow miraculous for kicking a ball into a goal or hitting a ball over a fence or whatever, a badminton or whatever. Kind of reminds me of my favorite Kevin Nealon joke. He was doing the Saturday Night Live news and he said, "Today in sports, a bunch of sweaty men chased a ball around." It's kind of how it feels like to me watching people talk about warfare. It's like, I did something great, I solved something, we completed the battle, everything is complete and settled. Oh wait, there's another battle coming up in a couple of years. Putin's like, wherever a Russian boot lands, that's Russia. And 100 years later, that area doesn't belong to Russia, and then the next 100 years after that, a boot landed there, it's Russia's. It's just really weird. It's not really Russian, it's this human thing where you kind of project your own internal feelings, and there's this part of us that thinks we're gods who can kind of project our things out here and achieve it. And then when we achieve it, that makes us the blessed one. But I kind of wonder if it's the very thing that keeps us from actually seeing what the truth and what God is. It's like a bunch of self-worship instead of God, worshiping God. You know, I'm sure a few atheists are going to tell me there's no God, but they'll just be being right, same as the religious people. But, you know, all empires fall, no matter how much you sit there and thump your chest about how wonderful your country is or your empire is. It will fall. You know, spend a couple months going through Indian and Chinese history and just read all the dynasties that came and went. You know, all these nations and kingdoms you've never heard of, with these rulers you never heard of, all of whom thought they were God's messenger on earth or whatever, and somehow important in accomplishing something. And it's like this big delusion. You walk around thinking you're something special, and it's almost like you're cut off from actual real life. You're in this imagined world. You know, it's this whole thing about, how do I phrase it? You know, again in the Bible, God is the verb to be. It's not the God of a bunch of attributes or meanings or what you say it's supposed to be. And it's always here, and that it's always inventing all this anew. I think that's what eternal life is you don't live forever. It's just while you have your life, you step outside of your personality and assumptions and beliefs and step into what's really here and step into eternity and live an eternal life. But yeah, while you're watching all the news, you know, the other thing is everybody who's on the news is kind of stirring up controversy, so you watch it so they can sell ads to you. The ongoing, all sides are saying everyone else is fabricating rumors and we're the only ones telling you the truth, and kind of worrying everybody up and inventing why it is, which leader is believing what. And I just watched 15 things about people talking about Trump and what an idiot is, and he's misleading himself and he's lying to himself. And I'm like, you don't know what Trump's thinking. But it's all geared toward, let's stir our audience up so they come back and watch, so we have subscriptions so we can get money. Can't look for truth in the opinions of others. It's gotta be in the heart with God, I believe. Well, anyway, nation after nation comes and goes. Rome fell. But the Romans never thought that was going to happen after 1,000 years. I walk around the city I'm in and I see these tall buildings, 30 stories tall, granite and steel, and it's got the name of somebody. And I'm sure it's somebody rich who wanted to leave their name so they'd be remembered in history, so they proof they were here, and they'll be recalled and remembered, you know, put back together in the public mind. And you walk by and go, I wonder who that is. Yeah, I don't care. Hey, you want to get a soft drink with me? You know, striving to be remembered in history isn't where it's at. It's getting here and being. God's name, I am, the first person singular of the verb to be. Not the descriptions, being. Okay, well, thank you. As usual, I have my website if you'd like to support me. I've got mugs and t-shirts. I got a music teaching book. Or if you just want to listen and subscribe, I appreciate it. I make enough money that I'm not living off of doing these videos, but I did spend some money getting the computers and cameras and audio and things like that. It'd be nice if anybody wants to support it. I'd appreciate it. And if not, if you see a person in need sitting on the street who needs a sandwich and a bottle of water, buy it for them. Okay, till next time. Douglas Scott McCarron, dsmccarron.com. Thank you. Bye.